If you've been keeping tabs on the Toronto rental market as of late, you know that rents have gone absolutely crazy. And in a recent article that has just come out, it says the average Toronto worker needs to make $40 an hour just to afford the average 2-bedroom apartment in the city. In this video, I'm going to go over the article. I'm going to tell you why I think it's actually a little bit more than $40 an hour. And I'm going to tell you where I think rents could be headed. As always, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, my name is Demetres Giannitsos with eXp Realty. If at any point you're watching this and you want to connect with me and have a chat about the real estate market, I've left the first link in the description below that'll take you to my Calendly, where you can book directly into my calendar. And of course, if you're liking the content, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm putting out videos every single week on the Toronto real estate market. So if that interests you, you're not going to want to miss any videos. Okay, let's get into the article here. So it says Toronto workers need to make about $40 an hour to reasonably afford a 2-bedroom apartment. Okay, and if we take a look further here, this is actually basing it off of a 40-hour work week and spending no more than 30% of one's income on housing. So, for me, whenever I'm screening, potential tenants for my landlords, I'm always looking at a ratio of about 30 to 40% of this person's income has to go towards rent. If there's any more than 30 or 40%, it's likely that that person maybe isn't qualified enough to afford this apartment. So let's take a look at this a little bit deeper. So if we have $40 an hour and we're going to times that by 40 hours a week, that's going to be $1,600 a week. Let's times that by 52. 52 times 1,600. We're talking $83,200 per year. Let's even take that further, divide that by 12. We're talking $6,900 a month. I know what you're thinking, dang, $6,900 a month just to afford a 2-bedroom apartment in the city. But I'm looking at this and I'm running the numbers and I'm like, I actually think you need to make a little bit more, because if we use this 30% rule that they're using and we use $6,900 a month, so let's take the $6,900 and times it by 0.3 to get that 30% that is allocated towards rent. That only equals $2,070 that you have to allocate towards rent, which does not get you a 2-bedroom in the city. Right now, 2 bedrooms are going for about $3,000. And it gets even worse here. If we go further down the article, it says Vancouver and Toronto are the worst culprits. Even with 2 full-time minimum wage workers, they cannot afford an average 1-bedroom without spending more than 30% of their combined income on housing. Now, there's 3 main reasons why rents are continuing to increase. So obviously, recently, interest rates have increased. This is putting a lot more pressure on any landlords or investors who are carrying rental properties. Their costs have gone up. They're really trying to make sure that anybody they put in their property is paying top dollar in order to help them cover those expenses as much as humanly possible. Now, also, at the same time with these increase in interest rates, we also have record high immigration levels, okay? Over 500,000 people are coming to Ontario in 2023, which is insane, okay? 500,000 people. In order to house 500,000 people, we need to have 192,000 new homes built per year. That's just to break even. That's assuming that, 2.5, 2.6 people will live in each home. And last year, there was only 72,000 homes being built. So I think that works out to about 35% of our, need is being actually met with the new housing. So we've got an increase in interest rates, we've got record high immigration, and we've got a severe supply shortage. So you're probably wondering, what is the solution here? And if we look at the article, it actually goes a little bit further and they actually ask, Premier Doug Ford, hey, what are we going to do about this? And he said that they're going to be capping the province's rent increase at 2.4% this year and 2.5% next year, which is great, but obviously that only applies to buildings under rent control. He also said, we set a record with about 15,000 purpose-built rentals, which is kind of another one of those things, because if you look at a lot of the purpose-built rentals that have been built as of late, especially a lot of the ones built by those REIT companies, they are luxury purpose-built rentals. Yes, is the entire building a rental building? Yes. It's a high-end luxury building that actually rents for more than what the condos downtown typically rent for that are owned individually. So that's not really helping the problem either. We need more affordable purpose-built rentals being built. Finally, their last solution is they added that the province intends to raise minimum wage in Ontario to $16.50 an hour. Now, I don't think anyone's going to really complain about that, but I don't really see $1 extra per hour on minimum wage really solving any problems, especially when the article says that you need to make at least $40 an hour to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. And when I broke down the numbers, it's actually more. So what does that mean for you? Well, if you're a tenant and you plan on renting for the next few years, I would highly recommend your next rental be in a rent-controlled building. So anything built pre-November 2018, okay, that's going to be under rent control. There's a certain limit that your landlord is able to raise your rents every single year. If you're an investor or you're buying a property with the intention of renting it out, I would definitely make sure that you buy something that was built after 2018. This would make sure that it's not on rent control and ensure that you get to keep up with current market rents, because there's nothing worse than, you know, getting a tenant in there that stays for 3 years, you fall behind on rents, and then if you ever go to sell that property, you got to deal with the tenant. You got to either buy them out or somebody has to assume them, which greatly affects your property value. So you're definitely going to want to make sure that you buy something that is not on rent control, as I think the rents could change pretty drastically in the years to come. I hope that helps you guys. It was definitely an interesting article. I'd love to hear what you guys think about the rental market right now, whether you're a tenant or you're a landlord. As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.